Job, big guy. Woo! It's a hot day. I'm gonna crack a cold beer, spill it on myself, and we're gonna look at some books I just bought. Cheers, BookTube. I went to two different half-price books recently. One of them on a family vacation in Omaha, Nebraska, and then one here in Kansas City. And then I ordered these about a month ago from a nice, I'm not sure if it's a male or female, I was going to say gentleman, a nice person in Canada. Shout out to the bookstore on Pluto. I'm going to link them down below in the description. A lot of great stuff in there in their shop. But yeah, we're going to go through. Normally they say to not start, or what did they say? Leave the best for last. We're going to start with the best because I know that's why you're here. I know that's why you're here. I love a good unboxing of vintage sci-fi. And honestly, I forgot about half the stuff that's in here. What I remember ordering is a lot of PKD, and I had been kind of eyeing a lot of them on the website for a little while and just finally decided to pull the trigger. So we're going to see what we got in here. And I don't know. We're going to go through together. Got the dog here too, Samwise Gamgee. All right, let's start it off with Fires of Azeroth by C.J. Cherry and the Daw. I think he or she, the person selling these, had a big stack of, $1, $2 books. So I got several of the $1, $2. Here's a pocket science fiction of The Best of Damon Knight. I didn't even stop to look at the cover, but that's great. Two evil pigs, space pigs. That's great. I absolutely love collecting the best of collections. I've really started to do that. Lee Brackett, The Starman of Leardis. A Valentine. I really have not. I've not dove into. I've not gone into Lee Brackett yet, but I have her best of works, and I plan on getting into those at some point. Here we have some more Daws. Gosh. This one I'm going to give to a friend because I just thought he would enjoy this. A buddy at work of mine. This just spoke to me and said, get this for him. So, Roller Coaster World by, is this Bulmer? Yeah, Kenneth Bulmer. I don't know. The name of the book just truly just sold me on it. Like I said, some Daws here. Here is Richard Purtle's The Golden Griffin Feather. I really like that cover. The Golden Griffin Feather. Don't worry, there's some really cool stuff coming up. This is the cheap stuff that I got that was like 75% or 75 cents to $1. A lot of it because it was very beat up, like this one. Thomas Burnett Swan's The Knot World. Very well read. Ripped up on the front cover, but you know what? The words in the inside are protected. This is Burnett Swan's Green Phoenix. And last of the cheapies, Christopher Anvil, Warlord's World. I quite like that cover. So, adding to my ever-growing Daw collection, and don't worry, there's plenty more Daws. I think in this little package here. Very nice wrapping here for the really nice stuff. Let's see what we got. Like I said, I have trouble remembering what I actually ordered, other than some PKD stuff. Oh yeah, here's a Tanith Lee, Vazcor, Son of Vazcor. Great title. I get every Tanith Lee I can find that's reasonably priced. She's fantastic. What is this one? Oh yeah, The Fall of Hyperion, very beat up. I have this, and this was like $1, so I'm gonna give this to another friend of mine. Luke, if you're watching, this is your book probably. Oh yeah, this is the good stuff. Tanith Lee's Sabella or the Bloodstone, science fiction vampire novel. That's freaking awesome. Sun faded spine, unfortunately, but in really good condition. Honestly, it's protected by this sleeve, so that was, I remember. So that's the first one I bought that was like not a cheap $1 or $2 book. And here we must be getting into the juicy stuff. I really quite like this way he wrapped these. He or she. I keep saying he just because I believe it's a male, but apologies if it's not. Here is Prelude to Chaos by Edward Llewellyn. I literally bought this because of the cover alone. I don't know what about that cover I like, but it's a tank chasing a woman on a motorcycle on what looks to be a wooden bridge. I just, yeah, take another gander at that. If you've read this, tell me if it's worth reading, because, yeah, it's a slightly longer DAW. A lot of the DAWs tend to range from 100 to 200. What do we got here? Oh, getting into the PKD. Here's Dr. Blood Money, or How We Got Along After the Bomb. That is gorgeous. That is a ace. An ace. That is an ace. Science fiction. I don't really know much about this one. I know that I want to read it, and this was in pretty good condition, really good shape. There's a little ding up by the I and C, but yeah, this is top-notch stuff. This is the stuff I really wanted. What else we got here? Oh yeah, A Maze of Death, Mr. PKD, Philip K. Dick. I have seen quite a lot of this about this one on the channels that I follow, and I want to know, what do you think of this one? What do you think of all these Philip K. Dick ones? Because they excite me. I think probably because they're generally not common. You know, you don't find stuff like that in the wild, and if you do, it's pretty expensive. But overall, I just would like to know which PKDs to read, because I read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I loved it, but I have quite a few sitting on my shelf, at least now I do, and I want to know where to go from here. Speak of the Devil, The Transmigration of Timothy Archer. I legit dreamt about this book. I don't know if it was the cover. I think it was the fact that it was a timescape with a beautiful cover. I just wanted it very badly. And yeah, I don't know. I've been wanting to get my hands on this book for a while. This specific, like, cover, the timescapes started to really, they're just cool. They're just cool. This one is another timescape, Confessions of a Crap Artist, Mr. Philip K. Dick. It's such a goofy cover. Some of these are great the little books in the cover, like Hardcore Science Fiction Magazine, Outrageous SF. Got to be not homages, but specific, you know, he's calling out certain magazines and whatnot. I'm just taking a complete guess. Another DAW, my first and only Philip K. Dick DAW. Now Wait for Last Year. Pretty neat. So now I can see some Dick on my DAW shelf. How many times has that been said? Don't quote me out of context. That is the box from the bookstore on Pluto. You know, that cold beer on a hot day, it's like 90 degrees. It's sunny out. This is perfect. You can hear the birds chirping, I hope, through my little mic. That's box one of, I guess, two. But one stack here and one stack here are each from two separate half price books. So we'll start with the one in Omaha that I went to, um, with Barrington J. Bailey's Empire of Two Worlds. This was $2. Couldn't say no. Clifford Simek, Project Pope. I think this was like $1. Several of these I got because they were just dirt cheap. Andre Norton's The Beastmaster. I really, for some reason, the aces that have this text block, not text block, this is the text block, this font style, I don't know, very like 70s, 80s. When was this published? This is 59. There's no way. Is it really that old? This book is in fantastic condition if it was published in 59. Anyway, I think that was a couple bucks. Here's a great one I found. This was the one I was most excited about. Stanislaw Lem. Yeah, the Star Diaries. I have one other Lem like this, called Return to the Stars, that I read, that I will be reviewing soonish. No, it'll be a little bit before I probably review that one. But that this style is just phenomenal. I don't know. Like I said, it's that the font choices of some of these old sci-fis are they just do it. They just do it for me. Big old thick boy DAW. This thing's 450 pages for a DAW. That's huge. Brian M. Stableford's The Realms of Tartarus. Realm? Yeah, Realms. I just love that cover. I don't know what's going on here. It looks to be under the ocean and like a silver surfing Iron Man on the cover. I don't know. Very cool here. Again, my ever growing DAW collection. Silverberg here with Stepsons of Terra. I think this was a couple bucks. Ace. I already have this and an older version, actually super beat up. But the Best of Lee bracket, who we've already seen in this book haul. This one I'll probably end up selling in a Whatnot auction at some point. Yeah, this one, it's the way that this is a newer printing of the Del Rey Best ofs. This is in great condition. The one I have is in that older, like it's across the cover or diagonally, like this, instead of angular like this one, 90-degree angles. But yeah, she is the one she's the writer who is famous for writing the screenplay, I think, for Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, would recommend. I think I haven't read her personally, but I think she's great. Another Lem here, actually, and it really made me mad. They Half Price Books put a sticker on the front that I started to peel, and it started to rip this material, unfortunately. So there's not even a cover. But another Lem, this one is entitled Memoirs of a Space Traveler. And I think it's missing its dust jacket. You don't really see books like this being sold, But yeah, it's an odd one. I've never really seen one like this. It's got like a little star and a little number on the back. Normal text on the spine there. But tell me what you know about this, because I don't know anything about it. I just saw Lem for $5 and said, yeah, buddy. And then because this was sitting on get out of there. This was sitting on the clearance shelf for $2, I grabbed Silverberg's Valentine Pontifex. Pontifex? Yeah, that sounds right. In actually great condition. Yeah. Book Club edition. Rarely, if ever, do you find a great like Silverberg in a vintage book club edition for $2. So when you do, you buy. Like I said, keep an eye out for a whatnot auction at some point. I know that's very vague. If you're interested in buying books, I'll have some at some point because I like to buy books, but I also like to find deals. It's that hunting thing that a lot of us vintage sci-fi fantasy lovers like, where a lot of these I will never get to. Unfortunately, I will never read. I hope I do, but there's no promise. And with hundreds of books on my shelf, each one taking a certain amount of time, there's no telling that you'll ever be able to read everything you have. I'm not trying to make a point that you should, but I have a lot of books that won't get read. I have a lot of books I want other people to read that I found for a good price. So, if I could make a couple bucks here and there to, help make a living and buy some more beers and book haul videos, why not? So that was the second stack. Cool off a little bit. I just realized the AC unit just kicked off. So I really hope that the audio is pretty good here. And it's not muffled. There's no issues with it. We'll see. Last stack here. This is the half price books in Kansas City here. And there's some really cool DAWs here. We'll start with those. Stableford Balance of Power. Very cool cover with some very fashionable time wizard of some sort. That's a neat one. I want to kind of keep these together so I remember where they go. Gronglort's Hello Lemuria. Hello. That's a cool cover. That is a cool cover. DAW number 331. Ron Goulart again calling Dr. Patchwork. That's what what is going on there? It's a great. Is this short stories? No, it's a novel. It's that's the funny pulpy goodness that I enjoy, or whatever that is. I don't know. Finally, the last Goulart I have. This I saw at one other time and I didn't pick it up, and I kind of regretted it because the cover is so striking. But Flux with the robot, yellow-haired Jesus, perhaps. I don't know, but yeah, all those were just a couple bucks a piece. Another Timescape, Adam Corby, the former king. I don't know anything about this. I bought it purely because it was a wraparound Timescape with not that many reviews. It had 11 reviews, I think, on Goodreads. But good. I think it was over a 4, and I thought $3, you can't beat that. I think William Morris. Is it The Well of Souls or something like that? No, that's Jack Chalker. Anyway, I have 2 other William Morris Valentine fantasies, and here is one of the most aesthetically pleasing books I have ever seen, with the wraparound. The just I don't know what to say about it, but other than the fact that whoever did the cover, please give them credit. Cover art, Gervasio Gallardo, I believe is how you pronounce that. He, or I think it's a he, it sounds like a male, did wondrous art here. Just, that belongs on a print on the wall, I think. Another DAW, 1985's annual World's Best. I think this was a buck. Stephen Donaldson, John Dalmas, Connie Willis, Ian Watson, John Varley. Not the crazy lineup that you might hope for. George Alec Effinger, Octavia Butler, Tanith Lee. Those should be the names on the front. No disrespect to the ones I named, but if I saw Tanith Lee on here, I would have been a much greater chance of me purchasing. This one, I'll do that last. This one, just a newer version of Neuromancer. I wouldn't say this is some special version, but I have Count Zero and Burning Chrome, which I'm currently reading, in this same exact style. So all I have left, I believe, is Mona Lisa Overdrive that I need to collect. Yeah, so need to find that, but then I'll have all four of the ones that, is it Orion? Oh, it's a Galans. Galans Publishing did this one. OrionBooks.com. So they did, this style is very aesthetically pleasing, I think. Very nice to read as well. The Burning Chrome edition I have, I'm really liking it. And lastly here, I found these today, not today, I found these at the Half Price Books, and I thought about this today because it just, for some reason, I want to know what you guys know about these old, like, these are the actual magazines, you know, that were being shipped back in the day. This is a November 1982 version of the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. November 1982, like I said. And it's got Asimov, James Blish, Joanna Russ, Barry Malzberg, and Bill Pronzini in it. And there was a bunch of them at this Half Price Books, all for like $3. You know, you have a Kim Stanley Robinson novella, a James Blish short story, a Malzberg and Pronzini collaboration, an Joanna Russ. Just like, I bought this one. I could have bought a bunch of them, and for $3, like, that's really not that bad. But are these worth anything? Are they rare? Are, you know, with the condition that something's like, it is like, gosh, I can't speak today. With the condition that something like this is in, you know, are these collectible, where if there's a huge swath of them sitting there for a couple bucks a piece, is it worth going to pick up? I'm relying more on you guys who know more about this genre and its history than me, because I didn't want to sink 50, $60 into a big pile of these if they were just, you know, I don't want to call them scrap, but if they're not really worth anything, um, you know, I don't want a bunch of flimsy ones taking up space. These don't fit well on a shelf either. There's, you know, these have a little bit more give to them, and so I'm not trying to take care of a bunch more magazines. And so anyway, I just thought this was very cool. Tell me what you know about this kind of stuff, these actual magazines. If they're, you know, if they're rare, if they're collectible, if they're something that I should probably go get more of. There was a bunch of, there was Analog, there was, I don't think there was any Orbit, but there was a lot of best of, or magazine of fantasy and science fiction. And I got one because I thought it was cool and it had a lot of cool names in it that I like. So yeah, that's the haul. I'm half done with my beer, so I'm gonna just kick back and drink this while I admire the additions to my collection. But anyway, uh, I look forward to these haul videos so much because it's become one of my favorite things to watch as a consumer, as a viewer, but also kind of, you know, wait until I have a big pile of books that I could show off to you that I haven't shelved yet, that I can just get real excited about. It's like a little mini Christmas that I can enjoy with you guys who also appreciate this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And tell me your thoughts on what I got. If you have read any of them, or if you particularly want any of them, um, yeah, I want to know what I got here because I'm just excited about it. So anyway, that's been it for me. Cheers. I hope you're having a great start to your summertime, and I will be back with more review videos soon. See ya.